Live from the floor of the NYSE, that's a market open.
Alright, thank you for watching and tuning into this YouTube channel. We are trading the Emini S&P 500 futures market here on this YouTube channel. As you have seen in previous videos, this is already the 11th week of this project. We are in August 2016 and we are starting to trade here right from Monday. I will be just fixing this small image here to the right hand side so you can see that. So as you can see here, these videos are speeded up, so the bar timer, the time remaining, as you can see here on the chart, these are indications and they show us when the bar is about to close. We are trading the 5-minute chart, so basically this is shown here at the top left side and also the bottom volume indicator that we are trading this 5-minute chart. This is something I normally do because many other people are also looking at this 5-minute chart to trade. And around 80% of the cases I will be initiating a trade as soon as a bar closes. In 20% of the cases I will be initiating a trade intra-bar, so before the actual bar closes. A bar closes every 5 minutes. As you can see here, time remaining is now 3 minutes. And obviously the time is speeded up so we don't have to sit through the whole session. What you may have realized from last week, we have inserted account data now at the top. So there you can see the realized profits and also the open positions. So still we see $100,187.50 over there, trading on this sim demo account, but we will be changing that to $30,000 because I was always advertising that I'm trading here with a $30,000 account roughly, and we will be trying to achieve 10% of total account value on a monthly basis. In order for you to see these positions a little bit more clearly, I inserted this account data as well as this data box to the left. There you can see the two main indicators which I use, the ATR, average true range, and also the volume. So here you could see already we took a few trades in the beginning. If we see a doji, that is at least what my strategy suggests, I will be exiting all the trades. So here you could see 2180.25 was a doji, as well as 2180 on the third and the first bar of this session. The market opens at 9:30. You can see that here 17:30 in the bottom. That is a different time zone because I'm currently in that time zone, but I might be changing that as well to 9:30 US Eastern Time so you can follow more precisely. I will be also inserting commissions from next week because we could not include those commissions previously. These commissions will also be accounted for in the account data here to the top. So everything should be more clear from next week, I think. This is a week where unfortunately on Friday I took a few losses, and this Friday I had also some issues with my video recording, so it will not be included here, but I will show you this Monday here until Thursday, and then we will be taking a few profits here along the way. So for example, in this case, I will show you that briefly here again. We were actually in a very nice long position on this last bar, and our entry was chosen properly, 79.50. I should have doubled up this position around 78 and then let the trade run. But you will see here shortly that I will be exiting this trade, and this is a trading mistake I did. So our normal stop should be around 3 points away, so 2176.50. I should be entering a second position. That's what I did here, and I should leave this position open now, as you can see, because obviously we didn't hit our stop. But I got a little bit worried that we will push through because we had so much volume. and 2176.50 was actually our pre-opening session low. You can see the blue line here, actually 2176 at the very bottom of the chart. So this long position, doubling up to 10 contracts, pushing upward now, as you can see, would have actually yielded our daily target of around $1,200 profit, which is around 4% of account value. So I have to try to eliminate those trading mistakes, I would call them. But I think sooner or later we will be able to get there as well. So here again at Doji, we are exiting this trade from this point. So normally, as I said in previous videos as well, I will be trying to trade two strategies. So one is the breakout strategy out of the opening range, and one is the strategy of breaking out of the pre-opening range. The opening range is decided from 9:30 US Eastern until 10:30 US Eastern, the first hour of the session. So for example, from here 17:30 to 18:30. Now you can see I changed the time, so 9:30 to around 10:30. The second thing we will be trading is the breakout out of this pre-opening range. So for example, now I'm in a long position, but I should rather be focusing on a short at this point in time, because 2176 was our pre-opening session low. I'm always trying to get improved entries on this breakout strategy. So here, for example, I should have tried to enter a short position somewhere around 77.25 instead of this long position. But that has to be decided on each day. But you will see that in this week quite frequently that I will be getting in the way of the breakout, and that is like catching a falling knife, for example, in this case here. So I should not be trying to oppose the trend direction, rather follow in trend direction, which is the breakout. As you can see here, we reverse back into the range, or we are trying to reverse back into range from 76, making more volume than the previous bar. The volume indicator is here shown at the bottom of the chart. There you see ATR ES 0916 5 minute 14 times moving average, ATR I mean. So that is 14 bars ATR average 2 range of the last 14 bars. And then you can see volume ES 0916 5 minute chart, so that's the volume indicator. So you can see we have more volume breaking into the range, so a long position is actually advisable from this point. But since we always try to enter the market with improved conditions, we should have actually entered this at 77. So for example, here at 77, a short position would also be a good opportunity. Now you can also observe something interesting, because what I spoke about and what I advertised before was that I'm always trying to look at 3 times the ATR breakout out of these ranges. You could be breaking out of anything, basically. You can be drawing your own trend lines and your own channels, your own patterns on the chart. You could also use indicators where you break out of, such as some channels, for example. But here I chose something which is, I think, very common and very familiar to many other people as well, which is the breakout out of this pre-opening range, which is 2176 in this case, and also the breakout out of the opening range, which is actually decided by now. As you can see, 9:30, 10:30, the time is already past that stage. So the low of this opening session was 75. So if we push through 75, we should see actually a continuation to the downside to around 2174 in this case. Because we have a little bit of an improved entry, we want to obviously don't want to make all the profit target, which would be around 3 times the ATR of the first few bars of the session. So the first few bars session ATR, I have to estimate now, but I think it was around 0.9 or 0.8 times 3, that would be around 2.5 points. So my target is also that we break out of this range here for 2.5 points. If we don't do this, normally I should be looking at another position to break out of this range. As you can see here, we broke out of 76 for around 1 point. Now we reverse back into range, so I should be looking for short positions somewhere in this area. So 77.25 is not a bad entry for a short position, and hopefully we will be pushing through this 76 level, and then we can see further lows. So let's see, we can obviously, because this video is pre-recorded, we can play back this video here a little bit. So for example, you can see here a doji, so I will be exiting this trade again. Yet again, I'm trying for another short position a little bit later in the session, but 79 is a bit high maybe for a short position. I should be rather entering somewhere in this area and should not wait so much. This is just a matter of psychology. I think you should be executing whenever you see an opportunity. Don't wait for further confirmation, otherwise you will probably miss a lot of trades. Also, if you have a stringent execution, as I always say, you'll be able to review your trades much better later. So okay, I think we don't see any more of this Monday here. This was the 8th of August 2016. Now it's Tuesday, 9th of August, but you can also go back on your own chart and have a look, and we actually broke out of this range again, but I didn't take any more trades. As I said, it's more of a psychological problem. You have to just execute, and later you can make adjustments to your strategy. I would also recommend every one of you to record your videos, or probably do at least some kind of review on the trades you made. So here, your typical break-even trade, we made our first profit target. The 2 blue lines are shown the low and the high of this pre-opening session, so 79 here in this case and 74.50. Our entry was exactly on the open for a short position, and we made 1.25 points. That means that our first profit target is reached, and if in this case I will be pulling my stop to break even. So break even means that if we hit this price again, our entry price, we will actually be taking out of this market without any loss or profit. Just we have to take these commissions into account, but they are not so significant at this point, depending on your broker, obviously. These might range from 50 cents to $2, but should definitely not exceed $2. I would say that's actually as high as it gets. So you can also see here that I'm trying for a long position. Unfortunately, this opening seems to be rather weak, and I should be exiting this market here from this point, 78.50. But in anticipation of this breakout, I entered a long position, so this could actually be expected that we break out of this market. But we have to close above the line, otherwise this will be a false breakout, and then we reverse back into range. So that, let me see if that happens in this case here. You can see some kind of breakout. So normally we see a continuation here to 81.50, but that has to be decided here shortly, so we will see. We can also obviously reverse from this point back into range, so 79.50 is not a very superior entry. And as I said, obviously we want to always be in very superior entry scenarios. So for example here, this would be around 78.50, taking this breakout, going for this breakout. So 79.50 is actually too late, because if the market reverses back into range, we are caught up in a trade which runs negative immediately from the very beginning, and we cannot make any adjustments to our strategy nor the trade, and it's a bit of a risky entry. So try to anticipate the breakout. So for example, here we reversed back into range, and actually I should have entered the market around 79 again for a second breakout. So this is a very typical scenario, but I didn't do this trade, unfortunately. As I said, hopefully I will be getting a little bit more advanced, because I'm doing some repetitive mistakes here. But I think sooner or later we will get fully established, everything will be much more clear to everyone, and then we will be trading the same thing over and over again, these breakouts, and I will be trying to find the right entry points for us. So you can see I was drawing this blue line as a little bit of a support and resistance level, or our target area. So we should be breaking out of 79, and our target area would be around 83. Let's see if that is achieved. So a small trade here, but again, an exit. Okay. Alright, so fortunately on that Tuesday I didn't take the trade I would like to have. So now we are sitting on a small profit here, but not very significant. So I was not able to accumulate any profits so far in this week. A bit unfortunate, but these things happen, obviously. So now we look at Wednesday already. This is the 10th of August 2016, trading the Emini S&P 500 5-minute chart here, and we mainly use these two indicators. So the ATR here is 0.72. that means 3 times the ATR is roughly 2.25 points or 2.5 points. So that's basically our target here for this opening trade, as well as the breakout. So here you can see we are in a long position right from the open. So open is at 9:30 US Eastern. I'm always trying to initiate my positions immediately after the open, or when the open appears. So here, as you could see, after this last red bar, I would be trying to initiate my positions. The reason being because many people trade off of this 5-minute chart, and you can see some commonality in the strategies. So let me play forward here a little bit. You can see the time remaining of this bar is around 40 seconds. You can see that on the right hand side here, the bottom, I mean just above the volume indicator, this chart box here in the very bottom, where you can see the blue line as well as these bars, the white bars showing the volume. So we have around 30,000 volume here, and I had to exit this trade because it seems the market wanted to push a little bit lower from the open. So now we are in a short position. This is indicated by this 5, the 5 here next to the price, which is moving $125, $187. If these are red, then obviously we make negative profits at the moment. If these are green, we make positive profits. As you can see here, now we turn positive, and also the box is green, so that means we have a long position. Otherwise we have a short position in this market. So as you can see here, we actually approached this blue level 74.50, and this is the breakout level, again the opening range low, or pre-opening range low, I mean, in this case. So we didn't break through this level at this point, so I was thinking we might enter a long position, or at least get out of our short position for the moment, because as long as we don't touch this area, we should not be trading. But actually we should be looking at some kind of short position at some point or the other. So I'm again exiting this market. See, again, I'm trying to get into the way of things, so this is not appropriate. But this is just an anticipation of the breakout. So it might that the market will never touch 74.50 again, but here would be a perfect entry. I think 77 in this case. You can see obviously the market shows a bit of weakness that can be seen here on the last bars, making less volume than before. So this is just what I'm trying to say this because as I mentioned before, that we want to always try to get an improved entry for these breakouts. We would not be trying to enter the market exactly on the blue line, so on the breakout line. But I think for that Wednesday I didn't take any more trades, so we are still a little bit behind on our cash value here. This was a rough week. I was setting up all my accounts here, so slowly we make some positive steps. I think we can take a few profits here and there, but still, as you could see in the first 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, I was doing 2 significant mistakes getting in the way of this breakout, as well as one position which was closed earlier without hitting a stop, just in anticipation of my stop being hit, which I should not have exited, and we would have yielded some profits over there. I think the same thing happened here. So my stop was at 78.25 and we actually did not hit 78.25, but the market seemed to really reverse to 78.25. So I was thinking to exit, because if we break through this level we might see a strong reversal again. But you can see here, no problem. So far we would have reached or gotten to our profit target here. 81 was our first profit target, or 80.50. Not a very solid execution what I was doing here on this day. Same thing here. We have a breakout, but my entry was quite high, 79.75. So I'm still in anticipation that the market will reverse all the way back up to 83.85, and that we will see a little bit later in the day. So we have a very nice suggestion here for this day. One of our members here on Discord, his name is John, he was making some suggestions for this day. He has some strategy which indicates to us where the market overall might go, in which trend direction, and he was projecting that this will be a long day, so a day where the market will move to higher prices basically. That was very interesting, I mean, to say this such early in this session. So he mentioned that around this time here we should enter the market into a long position. Unfortunately I got into this a little bit at a very high point here, 79.75, so that is not my ideal entry scenario, as I said, breaking out of this range. So I already saw this long position here breaking to the top, but my entry was inferior. So you can see we push back into range and I will be stopped out of this position. However, entering a second entry and second long position here from around 76 was something, no, 77 in this case, 76.88. So that is already doubled up position, 10 contracts, and I should be actually staying in this 10 contracts from this point onwards. So let's see what happens. I mean, this is a very long session, so actually, as was suggested by our colleagues here, that the market will push to the upside, and he said actually that it will be, or he mentioned exactly 85 as his profit target. So I set my target also in this area, 84.50. As you can see, I will be adjusting that a little bit later to 85. So this is my first profit target here, 83. This is just what I wanted to achieve, breaking out of this range, or even a little bit less, actually 82. But now you can see we have a really good entry here at 77. Unfortunately, I closed 5 of of my contracts, which I should not have done at this point. It's just that our profit target was so far away, so I thought 5 positions would still give us some profits, but we should not have exited these 5 positions according to what we have written down on paper. So I have around 2 pages of rules in front of me. They suggest whatever happens or whenever I approach a trend line, break out of a trend line or break through a trend line, let's say close below or above a trend line, just touch a trend line or so. What should I be doing in such a case scenario? So I have all the rules written down, so I don't have to make so many adjustments later on that day. Everything is set in stone, so to say, and I'm trying not to change those rules every single day or every single week. I try to stick to those rules as good as possible. This just gives me the confidence to enter the market, exit the market at right points, also make adjustments to the strategy over time, and obviously we are able to draw these trend lines according to our requirements. So these are just trend lines which I think many people are looking at the moment. 79 is a breakout pre-opening range, and obviously by now we also broke out of our opening range, which is decided from 9:30 US Eastern in this Emini S&P 500 futures market. You can see 10:30 was around the low of the day, 76. So the high would be then actually 80.75, 2180.75, and we should be looking at some kind of profit target again, 3 times the ATR. So breaking out of this range would be around 84 profit target, or 83.50 I think in this case actually, because the ATR of these first few bars seems to be rather small, so maybe a point, so 3 points from the high of this opening session, so 83 let's say. But this is a very nice trade, as you can see, and we ran profitable all the way. So I will be playing forward here a little bit, because this is a rather long session and we just start this session here. It's 1.5 hours into the session. Now it's 11 a.m. US Eastern time, but this will carry on for quite some time. I was also writing on Discord that 80 would be a good level, but actually I just wrote 80 because I was a little bit worried again of this reversal. But I think to enter anywhere in this area, 81 would be very appropriate. We also got some signals here. You can see breaking back into the opening range. So opening range, as I said before, was 2180.75. So we actually got into this range again. Here you can see the few bars touching this range. So a breakout again to the top is very, very likely. So let's continue, and we can see this very nice profitable trade. We are already 1,600 almost in profit on this trade. This is actually our weekly target, I would say 1,500, so 5% or total account value would be our weekly target roughly. But 10% per month I think should be achievable, and we will work on that as well. Obviously to have 5 every week would be 20%, but that is something which might happen, but it doesn't necessarily have to happen. And you can see here, even though we had such a great trade today on Friday, I did a few things wrong, which pulled this account again to a bit of a negative result for this week. I think we closed around minus $500 profit on this week. So let's keep going here, and you can see this trade. So it's good to be patient, obviously, because we set our profit target to 85, depending on a few rules which we decided on a little bit earlier. So this is just something we have to keep here. Obviously the volume is decreasing very significantly from 11 to 1 o'clock. So this profit target doesn't have to be hit, it's just depending on the volume a little bit, but this is something we should still be patient about, even though we hit this area several times. But I'm saying patience, you know, and obviously I was getting impatient here at some point. So we hit 85, which would actually yield $2,000 profit, a very significant profit, I think, for one trade. That is almost 8 points, right? Or 8 points exactly. But as our fortune goes here, 85 is hit only once, and then we actually reverse all the way back down. So 85 is only hit once. So I'm trying to pull in my target a little bit, so to exit this market, because obviously if we hit our price just once and we seem to be pushing away from that price again, and the likelihood of it approaching that price again is rather small, but it happens, or we see some kind of reversal, so we might be exiting and re-entering the market. But this is just the way I traded today, because obviously I was very happy with this profit target already. So I try to exit, and I will pull my target again to here, 84s. Because this reversal might continue, and you will see if you go back on your chart on to this Thursday here of last week, you will see that the market actually reversed quite significantly back down, even though approaching 85, or didn't approach 85 ever again, I think one time only. So you can see that already a little bit of weakness appeared in this area of 85. Anyway, I think that was, this week was okay. I could show you a few examples. So we have a clean breakout here again out of this range. So we try second entries just to show you a few things you might look at yourself, and you can come up with your own approach to this, and we can trade it here and exchange information together and see who can actually trade these breakouts superior, and we can work on some strategies together. Obviously join me on my Discord channel if you need any more information. We have already a few people participating, which is very nice. I'm very happy about that, and hopefully we can get to a stage here where everyone is making profits and sustainable income from this, and we have a little bit of build up some kind of confidence together. We work on our approach, everyone, because I think trading is the same for everyone. Everyone is struggling with this, to be stringent on the execution and do things over and over again, just make profits over and over again, take money from this market. So everyone is in the same situation. Hopefully we can build up something here together where everyone can be profitable. Okay, so we are almost approaching this end of this session. So this is actually recorded on Saturday, so today. This is just a chart from Friday, because unfortunately Friday stopped working, my video recording. I just want to show you here. I can briefly pause this video. So the bar I'm on with my cursor here to the left, obviously the session is already completed. So 9:30, you can see in the bottom chart, there you can see the first bar is actually breaking out of this range and then reversing back into range. So it didn't close below the blue line, and that is an indication for me that the market actually doesn't want to break out of the range at this point. So we should have actually initiated a long position right after the green bar, the first bar, and since we double up our contracts, we would have actually doubled up around here 2178 roughly, and we should be staying long in this position for our profit target, 3 times the ATR roughly. So that would have actually yielded, our profit target would have been around 82.50. So actually a perfect opening trade. We might have been taken out of this because we saw a few dojis here on the way, or actually no doji really, but we could see a few bars which opened and closed on the same price, so that also might be an indication that we want to exit this market. But still a very nice trade. And I could see another trade here, but no need to talk about it so much, I think. But unfortunately I took wrong positions on that day. But it shouldn't matter so much. Sooner or later we'll get into this. But the good thing is that we will be changing our account here to 30,000. That will happen here very shortly. So actually the cash value and net liquidation will be going to 30,000. So that's what I was always talking about. 5 contracts initial entry and then 10 contracts second entry, or just double up. So another 5 contracts to 10 contracts on the second entry. I think this is an account 30,000 where a normal investor can start trading with, and you can generate some profit, which could be substantial and obviously increase over time. You could also have a much larger account, but I would say don't go below $10,000 account with this, because you, according at least to my strategy, you have to be able to double up, or even if you want to open a position pre-open market, so anything before 9:30, even for approaching this opening, so you just want to participate in the market before 9:30, then you have to have a margin requirement for only one contract of around $6,000 or $5,600. So that's already significant. So I think you should be thinking about at least a $10,000 account, going all the way up to, obviously, it's almost open end, I would say. But for this market we have some kind of limit, I think 300,000 maybe, because 100 contracts is already significant. But there are other markets, they can be traded. Also this one, S&P, the real one, we couldn't be trading this one, but the lot size is much larger, or the margin requirement for one contract is much larger for the real S&P. So you can see here the nice thing, I will be changing this to 30,000. So from next week we have a fresh account, 30,000, and then we will also be taking some commissions into account here. So I will be having $1 for an entry and $1 for an exit. So $2 for a round trip. I could increase that actually to a little bit higher depending, but let me know how much commissions you pay, and then we can work on this together. So thank you for watching. Take care. Bye bye.